I believe that Quant is crazy. Carajo, porra. And why is that? It's because I do believe that during the peak of this bull run, it could hypothetically go to the price of $5,000. And of course, that's all financial advice. But before I get into that, I first want to address, the critics out there who keep saying, wow, man, Quant, it's not really moving much. It's kind of doing caca, man. It's kind of trash. Oh, you made such a bad call on that. Well, here's the thing. First of all, great things, they take time and patience. And if the price of Quant really isn't moving that much like what a lot of people say, right? Why is this so bad? You got to think about this. If I have more time to dollar cost average, right, to accumulate what I love at, relatively speaking, lower price, why would I not do that? A lot of people out there, they seem to think that if Quant did, a 10x from right now, that'd be so fantastic. But for me, I actually love it when the prices are low. People, they don't like it, but I love it. I love it when things are low. I love things when they're at a discount. A lot of these people out there, they're FOMOing into random dinosaur projects like, Bitcoin, in my opinion. But for what, man? You have to take into consideration how Quant, it's not only more rare than Bitcoin, but also on top of that, it has a much better use case as well. Now, what do I mean by being more rare? You take a look at how Bitcoin maximum supply is 21 million. Quant, it's around 14.6 million. So yeah, you have to take into consideration how Quant, not only is it far more rare when it comes to Bitcoin, but the use case is a lot better. Bitcoin is primarily viewed as just a store of value in most cases, right? But Quant, it's a lot more than that. It can be used for developer licenses, enterprise licenses, gateways and staking, application users. So when it comes to Quant, it's not short of any use cases. And you have to take into consideration how the Quant network, it's very special. I mean, first of all, it's made up of two things, right? The Overledger OS and the Overledger network. And what the Overledger OS does is that it allows something called a multi-chain application to be built. A multi-chain application, as the name goes, is an application, that is on multiple blockchains instead of just one. So for instance, let's say I'm an enterprise. I want to build an application that, for instance, right? Let's say we use, Stellar, the Stellar blockchain and Bitcoin as an example. Let's say I want to make an application that takes advantage of the speed of the Stellar blockchain. But let's say at the same time, I want to take advantage of the security of the Bitcoin blockchain. I can do that through the Overledger OS. Quite essentially, I can build an application, right, that, takes advantage of one blockchain strengths, but at the same time, where this blockchain may have some weaknesses, I can, leverage the strength of another blockchain to, quite essentially supplement that. So isn't that amazing? That's how fantastic the Overledger OS is. Hence the name again, right? A multi-chain application. That way the application isn't just on a singular blockchain, if that makes sense. That's extremely revolutionary. People no longer have to be stuck building on only just one blockchain. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's the forward-thinking mindset that Quant has. They're like the David Goggins of projects. At least that's the way I view it. If I were to put an analogy on it, they're the type of project, that says, hey, man, who's going to carry the boats? Who's going to carry the logs? That's the Overledger OS. That's a multi-chain application. Carajo, porra. That's how amazing they are. Now, the Overledger network, it's made up of the Overledger OS users. And on there, the Overledger OS users can share their data, their apps, their resources, and of course, monetize them. So that's very fantastic. Also, on top of that, when you take a look at Quant, they even have something called QRC 721, which is their very own NFT standard. Now, this is a lot better than ERC 721, which a lot of people love for whatever reason, but I think this is kind of caca, man. Who loves Ethereum's ERC 721? I don't love that. When it comes to that, right? First of all, it lacks interoperability, meaning that it can't freely interact with, a lot of other blockchains, which is kind of caca. So that's not good. Also, on top of that, ERC 721 has been reported to have, these security issues. So arguably, it's not that secure. But when you take a look at QRC 721, it's not like that. It doesn't have these nonsense issues. It's quite essentially the new and improved ERC 721, at least that's the way I view it. ERC 721, that's like a dinosaur. That's like a Nokia phone from the early 2000s with a 6.9 megapixel camera. QRC 721, man, that's like the iPhone 15 Pro Max or, the Samsung Galaxy. It's absolutely fantastic, if you know what I mean. And the NFT market, it's no joke, right? Some people, they may think, oh, wow, that's kind of beneath Quant to be focused on NFTs. I thought they were a good project. Why are they focused on NFTs? Oh, man. They're saying all this type of nonsense. But here's the thing. The NFT market, according to Grandview Research, is predicted to be worth over $211 billion by 2030. So when people hear that, is the NFT market caca? Absolutely not. That figure is bigger than some countries' GDP. So just let that sink in, right? Quant, it's fundamentally fantastic, much more rare than Bitcoin, much better than Bitcoin in my opinion, much better use case, of course. Also on top of that, the Quant network, fundamentally fantastic, QRC 721, I think it's going to change the whole NFT space overall moving forward. Man, why is Quant at the price of, $5,000 too much to ask for? I mean, a lot of people, they may think this is crazy, but if it were to reach the price of $5,000, at that point, market cap would be around $60 billion. I mean, caray, porra. I have to start speaking some Portuguese there because, are you serious, man? Dogecoin at one point, a very caca meme coin, by the way. I think there's much better meme coins than that. But yeah, besides that point, Dogecoin at one point, market cap was around $88 billion. I mean, come on, man. So really, when you think about it, is a $60 billion market cap too much to ask for during the peak of this run? I think absolutely not. It's not outlandish. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to happen tomorrow or something like that because the peak of the altcoin season, it does typically happen anywhere between 6 to 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. Now, the Bitcoin halving event, of course, did happen back in April, so we're potentially taking a look at worst case scenario, October of 2025. But again, just like I mentioned earlier on the video, if the prices are low, and in this case, if I have to wait a longer time, why not? If anything, I can accumulate more and more quant. Hey, that's good for me. At least that's the way I view it. Now, it could happen sooner, which is October of this year, which a lot of people would be happy. But personally, for me, I don't mind waiting either way because, hey, if I can accumulate more quant, fine. If it pumps early, I'll still be happy. But if I have more time to accumulate, why not? And of course, that's just for the time being. I don't want quant to stay low forever, relatively speaking, of course, right? But again, for the time being, let's say for a year and a half or whatever like that, I can accumulate more quant. Why not? Especially as of right now, when there's nearly 600 million crypto owners, more than ever before in history. I mean, man, really the sky's the limit during the peak of this bull run. Bitcoin hasn't reached the price of $100,000 yet, hasn't reached the price of $150,000. So once it does that, right, and people start taking profits, they want gains again, they start flowing it into these relatively, I should say smaller projects to medium projects, right? Guess what's going to happen? The altcoin season, man, it's just going to take off, going to go along with the ride. I think Quant, $5,000 during the peak of this bull run wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think it's that amazing, and I think Quant is crazy. I think it's insane. Carajo, porra. I think it's legendary. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. And also on top of that, make sure to check out this very fantastic video. Think you all would really love it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.